So within games, oftentimes you need to have random things happen, random values returned. So I always like to include a simple function where I can pass over a number and return a random value back for that number. So I just simply do something like return and then math floor to bring it back to actual value, and then math random. Because when we just do math random, we get that 0 dot and a whole bunch of values there. So I want to multiply this by n, which is the parameter that we pass there within this function, the my_number. And then I like to do +1. So this should give me a random number from 0 to this particular value, or from 1 to whatever that value is. And of course, you might have a different formula that you want to work with, or you want to randomize it or change some of these values. But for the purposes of this lesson, I'm keeping it really simple, where I'm just going to be able to return that back. And the reason I do that is because I actually want to set a random ghost. So I don't want to have just that one ghost lurking around. I want to be able to set a random one. So one of the things here is I think I'm going to set a value here. So I'm going to break these apart and just comma separate them. Save a little bit of space here. And I'm going to set up my ghost as having a false value. And this is going to give me the ability to check to see if the ghost exists. If it doesn't exist, when I'm rendering out the content, I'm actually going to render out my ghost information as well. And again, this is all dependent on how and where you want to use this, but most of the time you can do most of your functionality here within that rendering. You could also set that up here within the play game. If you didn't detect a ghost, you could create one there at that point as well. So a number of different ways that you can enter that in. So if you want to keep the rendering part really clean with just canvas information, this is a great place to do that as well. But for now, for what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to render out the ghost within the render function. So I'm going to check and see if ghost exists, and if it doesn't exist, then I'm going to create him or update his information here. So if he doesn't exist, I know I need to set a number for him. So I'm going to, or what I'm doing here is I'm setting a number for him, and then this is where which image I'm actually going to draw out. So I'm going to be drawing out ghost number. So this is going to give me the ability to actually not just have the red ghost. I want to maybe have the orange one, the pink one, the teal one, the purple one. So there's 5 different ones. So I'm going to do my num5, and I'm going to multiply it by 64. And also, I'm going to give them a random X and Y position. So I'm going to give them enemy X, and again, this my_num function there. And I'm going to just give them a random spot on the map there. And also, I'm going to give them a random Y position. So this is going to give me a random ghost color, random location. And as we can see, it's continually doing that right now. So actually, I think there's an error there in the calculation. So what I'm going to remove that out. Because I'm not actually calculating in the 0 value. So that's better. So I don't actually see the Pac-Man there. I see all the different ghosts, which is exactly what I want. But I actually want to be able to set this at false, so I only create that one ghost. So that was the issue there where I'm creating a bunch of them. But I did want to see to make sure that I'm creating the ghosts properly. So now when I do ghost equals true, I should only have one ghost. And this is going to be a lot easier to follow what's happening here as well. And another thing that I might want to add in as well is I don't want them too close to the top, so I'm going to give them a plus 30 there to give them a position, random position, but actually have them down below where the content is up there. So give them roughly more of a centered position. So in the upcoming lessons, we're going to talk about how we can actually move our ghost around. So it's coming up in the next lesson.